Okay, so next in my Halloween franchise review is going to be Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers, which came out in 1988. And this is part of the Halloween 30th commemorative anniversary set. And this one comes with the mask. The box comes with the mask, which it's in one of my boxes somewhere. I just took the DVD case out, so it's easier storing it. But yeah, this one, after the failure and the hatred for part 3, the studio's like, well, alright, we need to get this franchise back on track, so we'll bring Michael Myers back. And of course he comes back. And this is also the first movie to feature the character of Jamie Lloyd, who was played by Danielle Harris, who would play in this movie, Halloween 5, and the remake and the sequel to the remake. And um so this is about uh a young girl named Jamie Lloyd, who is, which you find out, they're trying to explain like what happened to Laurie Strode. They said that she died in a car accident, and that her baby, that Jamie Lloyd, which is played by Danielle Harris, that she's put into a foster home, and she's, kind of like, she feels kind of disconnected from everybody. She has an older sister who's a teenager. Her name is Rachel, and she's like, she's not my, because her parents ask her to babysit her and stuff, and she's like, I want to go with mom. I want to hang out with my friends and stuff. And she's like, I don't want to take care of her. You make me do this. She's not even my real sister and stuff. So you could tell like the relationship between them is kind of strained. But she, Jamie keeps having these weird visions and dreams, and she keeps seeing this masked man who is Michael Myers walking around and stuff. And I forgot to mention my Halloween 2 review that you find out that Laurie Strode is actually Michael Myers' sister, and so Michael Myers would be Jamie Lloyd's uncle in this movie, in Halloween 5. But she starts seeing these weird, Michael, and like image, keeps seeing him everywhere, and she's kind of like freaking out about it, and she knows something bad's gonna happen, which they don't really explain like why they have this. They kind of like bring it up in part 5, really, but basically Michael comes back after part 2, which they didn't really explain. There's a scene where he goes to a gas station. He's all bandaged up because at the beginning he breaks out of this hospital because they're transferring him to a prison for the mentally insane, and he's in this ambulance, and he breaks out and he kills both of the paramedics. He like slams one guy. He's like sticks his thumb in his head, like literally sticks it in there, smashes his head against the wall. Um, he crashes the ambulance and escapes, and then later on they find like the crime scene, and the ambulance is like flipped over in a river, and everyone's freaking dead inside. You just see a bunch of blood on the back of it, where they keep the patients at. And then Michael goes to a gas station. He don't have his mask yet. He's just like in a hospital gown, and he has like bandages wrapped around his face, and he stabs a guy. A guy's working on a car, and you know how you have that board and they slide out. Michael takes the metal pole and just stabs him, and then I guess takes his jumpsuit, his jumper. I forgot how he got the mask. I forgot how he got the mask back. I think he goes to a hardware store and steals it, like in the first movie. But uh, there was but he comes back, and he starts killing off these teenagers again, and then he's going after Jamie. I know a lot of people had issues with this movie, especially with Dr. Loomis about how bad he was burned, which was like nothing because at the end of part 2, when he blew up the hospital, like everything was engulfed in flames, and he was sitting right by the oxygen tanks when he blew it up, so he would have been dead. And if he did survive, he would have been like severely burned. But no, he just had like a burn on one hand and like a little burn mark like on this, as like scarred up on one side of his face. And then you look at Michael. Michael's like, I guess all messed up because he has fucking bandages around his head and shit. So you're just like, I don't know. But I know a lot of people. Some people they consider this from like 1 2. This one's another popular, or part 4 is another popular one in the series. A lot of the deaths are very brutal and graphic. I mean, not as graphic as part 2 because I think this is when the MPAA was severely cut in movies down for gore. And but there's like a one scene where a woman, like one of the teenagers, she's walking through the house and Michael takes a shotgun and like sixes up through her and shows her and pins her up against the wall. There's one scene where he takes Michael and another guy are fighting, and he's trying to the guy's trying to shoot him, and then Michael takes his head and starts like crushing it like this. Like you don't see much. It's more like in shadows, but you hear like a bunch of cracking noises, like basically crushes his skull. I'm trying to remember the other death scenes. There's some pretty graphic ones. Of course, there's that big fights or the big chase scene at the end where not Lori, Rachel and Jamie are on top of a roof, and Michael's like chasing after him, and Rachel falls off the roof, and I think she actually did fall off the roof in real life. And there's that big scene. There's a scene at the end which I thought was stupid. I mean, it was okay until like the explanation of Halloween 5. Like, what happened? There's like these bunch of rednecks going around trying to hunt Michael down. And I think this was probably the one where Michael had the blonde hair. I'm not sure. But they go to a school, and then they're like, you guys don't be running around shooting things. But there was like some guy in the bushes or something. And that was Michael. It's just like a bunch of hillbillies, and they just start blasting away and kill some innocent guy. But at the end, there's like this car chase scene, and Michael like jumps on top of a truck and kills some guys. And like they make it to like this area, and like the cops are just blowing him away and stuff. And he's like over this pit, and he falls down. And then they throw a grenade down there and blows up. And you're like, oh damn, he's actually dead. But yeah. Oh, there's another scene of Bucky. There's a character named, I actually heard this, there was a website somebody made, because there's a small character in it. He's an electrician named Bucky, and he has his hat says Bucky on it. Michael picks him up and throws him into an electrical grid, and he just blows up and stuff. And I was like, damn. But the ending's also famous because at the end you see, when everything's calmed down and stuff, you see someone wearing a clown mask walking around the house at the Jamie Lloyd's parents or foster parents' house, and the mother's drawing a bath for her. And you see someone come up behind her and start stabbing her, like from the POV from like the first Halloween when Michael had the clown mask on and stabbed his older sister. And you find out later that's Jamie, dressed up kind of like Michael from the first movie as a kid. And Dr. Loomis going, no, no, no. And then it cuts to black. And then, without getting into Halloween 5, they don't even carry on with that, like that Jamie is going to be the killer now. They just bring Michael back, so it's like, why do they even do that? And then I know it was a different writer and different director, but that was kind of, I would have liked to see a Jamie Lloyd killer movie. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people like the, shoot, it's considered one of the best sequels out of the franchise, and I can agree with it. I mean, it was the return of Michael. You have Jamie Lloyd, who would later appear later on in the movie. She's in part 6, but it's not played by the same actress, and she doesn't last that long. But yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're like into this series. But yeah, that's my review.